All right, hello, fellow mortgage-free home builders. Welcome back to Big Rooster's Corner. I'm your host, Big Rooster. I have a channel disclosure. This is a learning vlog, and it is a 420 F-word friendly channel. If you're not 420 friendly, or when the F-word pops out, you are offended, then don't watch our content. Wouldn't you like to be in my yard? If you do subscribe to my vlog, welcome back. If you don't subscribe, think about subscribing today. Subscription is free and nothing to download. Just give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. This is episode 2 on 5/10/2021 of Build Your House Mortgage Free. All right. I'll be teaching off my own house plan and strategy on my vlogs. You can follow my lessons and change it to your plan, but the knowledge works on any size plan. I just happen to, build a lot of different houses, so I know it works on more than one application. So let's get into today's lesson. My mouse took a crap, so now I got to use the keyboard. So if I look down, that's what I'm freaking doing, fucking with the keyboard. All right, we're going to do foundation, piers, and beginning guide to calculating the materials. In other words, the takeoff. Okay. Using a sonar tube that is 12 inches by 48 inches, installing rebar with Simpson strong ties and 3,000 psi concrete. PSI is pounds per square inch on a 6-inch bed of gravel at the bottom. I'll explain all that here in a minute. All right. And today we're going to, we're doing sketch only. We will, just to make sure that our calculations are correct in what we're going to do prior to drafting the blueprint, which we will get into soon. If you do a slab, you will need to do footers at least 2 by 2 by 2 around the whole perimeter of the house. And then you will have to pour slab and either put up block or build your walls out of wood, which is, called stick framing. I don't know what they call it nowadays, but in my days, if you put the walls up and you had wood walls, they considered that stick framing. Okay. Anyway, after you get that done, it's just a mess and it costs more money, actually. And if you live in cold weather, the reason why I'm doing this is to be able to insulate my floor because concrete costs a lot of money to insulate. And I don't like walking on cold floors. So, a little bit about my background. I built houses like this with piers in the 70s as a kid with my uncle in South Florida. At the time, Apple Homes built island-style houses for islands, and they were built on 12 by 12 piers. This concept works very well in unstable soils, such as sand hills, clay mountains, and all types of terrain in this type of category. Okay? So, just, kind of keep it in mind. Prepping your foundation. We're going to go below the frost line to a depth of 42 inches. Below top of grade, frost line is around 30 inches. That will leave us, 12 to 18 inches above the ground after we stick our sonar tube down in there. So, after we get done with that, we're going to install TJIs for joists that are lighter weight and they can span longer lengths, which makes floors faster and easier to install. Actually, a little stronger, too. The piers can be 12 feet apart and clear code to construct your floor. However, with the dimensions of my house, it's going to be 16 feet wide in one section, so 8 works for me. 0, 8, 16. I'll have a pier in the center of a 16-foot span, which I went ahead and adapted that throughout the whole thing, I'll explain that later. And it'll distribute the weight more evenly and actually able to support more weight on load-bearing walls. because you have less span. So, a hint, this happens by shortening the span between the support piers. Each tube will have 6 inches of gravel below the tube, and piers are going to have a number 5 rebar in the center of each tube attached to a corner rebar shaped like an L at the bottom of the tube. Each tube will have 2 Simpson strong ties that are 3 feet long with a 6-inch bend placed about 12 inches up. So you're going to take half of that 18 inches and you're going to bend it, and I'll show you in a drawing. What's going to happen is you have a 3-foot piece that's straight. You'll come 12 inches, come up 6 inches from the bottom, and you'll make a bend 6 inches, and then the balance of the strong tie. After you pour your concrete, you're gonna stick it down in your concrete, and you're gonna stick it down a foot. All right, so that'll leave you 18 inches above, and I'll explain the width of the TJI, but that'll give you enough to run up the side of the TJI, flip it over the top, and nail it. The reason why you have 2 of them, because when you do your pouring, you set your straps so that they're offset like this, so that you can put one this way, and it secures it straight down onto the pier. And you do that on every one of them. So there's a lot to do. You'll get the hang of it. Trust me. Done it before. And then, like I said, each pier will be filled with the 3,000 PSI concrete. I did the factors on a bag, and I decided not to buy me a cement mixer and all that crap because I've had them and they suck because of the maintenance. Anyway, so I'm just going to order a truck. I can get a truck of concrete to fill all my tubes for about $1,100 for 10 yards. Okay, it's not bad. It's about $110 a yard. And if it takes me anything over that hour, it's only $75 an hour for the driver to stay there and pour it, but they give you the first 1.5 hours. So you're going to have about $1,800 in buying the bags of concrete, and then you're going to have to buy a mixer, minimum, if you get a cheap one, $400. If you get a decent one, $2,500. So if you get one in between, you're looking at about $1,000, $1,200. So by the time you do that, you're at $3,000. If you get a truck at $1,100 and it takes you, if it takes you 5 hours, 6 hours, you're still way ahead of the game. All right, now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to bring my sketch up here. And, all right, this right here is the 6 inches of what I was showing you before, the 6 inches of the gravel. Sorry about that, freaking got out of range. Anyway, 6 inches of gravel on the bottom, and this is your 12-inch sonar tube with your rebar in the center. I held it down. You'll hold it down just from the top so you can float it over with concrete. And down here at the bottom, you can see the L, and you attach this with ties, wire ties. You attach these 2 pieces, and the L will hold that down in the concrete. If you didn't, you could just pull that straight up out of the concrete with a little bit of effort. Anyway, when you get up here, I'm going to take some rebar, and I'm going to put a piece of rebar, I don't know, somewhere around a foot down, I guess, maybe a little further, because I want to have something up here to help hold down the rebar in the middle too. So I'm going to put a T in here. I'll either weld it real quick or put tire on it. The tie rebar tie on it. And then this is the strong tie I was telling you. You do an L, and then you have the excess sticking out of the tube, and your TJI is going to sit right here in the middle. Anyway, that's that's the close-up on that. And then we're going to go to the top view real quick. And this is the top view of, you know, what your TGI is going to look like here. Let me bring it into focus here. Now we're looking at it on this side. All right, here's the top of it looking down, right? So when you're looking down at it, here's where your TJI is going to sit, and then your strap on each side, and you flap it over. And that rebar sits down below top of concrete, and this is where your TJIs are going to sit in the tube. This is the tube, set here, and then this piece, this TJI goes through here, so you can nail it either way. It'll be upright, stable. So now, moving along, I feel like I'm in school again, and the teacher's explaining everything. All right, next we're gonna go over the layout for the piers. I might have to move it back and forth a little bit. I don't know, the camera thing, the new phone, so I don't have it really all the bugs worked out. Anyway, here we are with the piers. Okay, this is top view of the pier layout, and this is only a sketch. We'll get into the scale drawing soon on the blueprint. Anyway, sketch it out. Make sure it all works with your math, okay? We're going to have a 16 by 32, a 24 by 32, and a 16 by 32, and then an enclosed porch. It's going to go out here, 18 feet here, and all the way across here, and you're going to be going out, various points. Anyway, you draw out your piers, and you get them all lined up, and you make sure all the math works. See how I got 8 and 8, like I explained earlier? 16 feet wide, 8 feet instead of the 12 feet. And here, I just kept the same here, except for here. There's going to be a 10-foot wide right here out of the back of this part of the house. So what I did was I centered the piers here, and I'm going to have a row of piers at center right here at the 5 foot. So I split the difference on everything in the whole house because it pretty well mathematically works evenly, except for right here in this area. That's not a big deal. It's not a huge area. All right. Now, put that flashcard away. Now we're getting into the fun part, and this is where the math begins, other than doing that, okay? You got to do your little takeoff number here, right? And that's what we did. Now, what you're going to do, it's going to be backwards because it's in the camera. Anyway, you can pretty much get the gist of it. You're going to count your sonar tubes. They run about $17 a piece. Then you're going to count, I put bags of concrete on there, but then I factored in the truck. That's what I was telling you. It's like almost $1,700 just to buy the freaking bag of concrete. So it's cheaper to buy the truck. All right, and then you're going to make a little list. You're going to get gravel, and you're going to factor in how much of that and all that, right? And that's going to be what you call your takeoff. And a lot of people wait until the architect does the drawing, but since I went to school to be an architect, I like to do my takeoff first because it does a number of things. Keeps you in budget. What you got to do to get the job done, right? I mean, it's just common sense. It's much better because then, if you get a little more money in the budget, and you say, hell, it's 1,200 square feet. I got enough money, let's go to 1,500 square feet, and you make that decision before you get going with the house this way, see? And then, it's easier to make it all work. It just, then there's no second guess down the road. You get the fucking house up. A couple years down the road if you do it yourself. You get the house up and you say, oh, fuck, I'd like to have another 20 by 20 room. Well, now it's an addition and it's a real fucking pain in the balls to add on. Do your build first. Don't fuck with add-ons. I did that many a times. Dumbass mistake to do. Anyway, Let's go over the equipment real quick on basic tools that you're going to need to complete this phase of the build. I would suggest the builder's level, some stakes and string lines, get some marking paint, shovels, wheelbarrows, small tools like that. When you get ready to do it, unless you own one, I don't own one anymore. I sold it. I didn't think I was going to do any construction and stuff like that, and well, that didn't work out. I decided to build my own house because it's ridiculous what they want to do it. Anyway, you would need a bobcat with an auger and a bucket if you're doing piers. If not, you'd need it with a bucket, grapple, shit like that. So you can clear the land and grade and get ready to build. And if you're going to do a foundation to put a slab, well, then you better know how to run an excavator. I used to own one of those too. So, anyway, you can rent these items for about $300 a day per item, roughly, plus delivery, tax, fuel. They're going to require you to return it for fuel, or they're going to charge you out the ass. And I used to do that, the rental business and heavy equipment and stuff like that. Trust me, you want to put the fuel in it. Anyway, the good thing is if you rent it, if something breaks, then they fix it. You don't have to fuck with it. And a lot of rental companies, if you rent 6 days, they'll give you a 7-day free type deal, you know. And then on 6 days, usually you pay 4 or 5 days or something shit like that. I don't know. They work it out somehow that it works out to keep it for the extra day or two. It's not a whole lot more expensive than, keeping it for only 3 days and trying to bust your ass, to get done. Anyway, in the next lesson will be sketching a floor plan and doing a takeoff. I'll put all that together here and, try not to keep them 2 weeks apart next time. I'll try to do it, within 5-6 days. And we will go over the floor plan that I'll have sketched out like that so you can see it a little bit, And we'll talk about takeoff and sensible numbers and stuff like that. And if I feel that, if I can put together a class here before we get into drafting the blueprint, it requires math skills to a point and all that. I'm probably going to put a vlog together that will explain the math and how the math works. You're going to need geometry, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. I'll try to keep the trigonometry out of it. I'll try to keep it pretty simple because most people can't figure out trusses. And you need trigonometry to do that. And a little bit of algebra. So those are the harder math skills to have. So I'll try to teach around that, but give you the gist of how it works. And this way here, when you do the trusses, you're going to need to have a sealed print anyway. But I will teach you how to draw them. And that way there, when you do your overall plan, you can draw your trusses on your roof and crap because they're going to want you to do that. However, they're going to require you have a truss package. I'll explain that later. I already have mine for my house. So I've already got a lot of my documents and stuff I need sealed done. I'm just going through this, and when I get started on drafting the blueprint, we'll move it along a little bit because I'll probably draw 3-4 nights, and then I'll explain it in one night. And, so we're going to move it along when I get to that, because I want to get my building permit. Yeah, I want to get going. I don't want to be 62, 63 years old and still fucking around building a house. I want to be done by the time I'm 60, 61. So I got about 4 or 5 years to get this fucking thing done. And I don't want a mortgage. So we're going to move it along when we get to that part. All right, one last thing. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Yahoo at big_rooster_420. I just signed up on Snapchat, and that's different. You can't use 2 underscores. So that would be big_rooster420 on Snapchat. Facebook, they finally got their shit together, got it straightened out that I was a real person with my real fucking name. I mean, how stupid. Anyway, it has my real name, but in parentheses, it has Big Rooster. Once I figure out how to connect and let you know how to get a hold of me on Facebook, I'll let you know. My friends and stuff like that, they know how to get a hold of me on on Facebook already. And I am going to hook a link from on Facebook to YouTube, but I got to figure out how to do it from YouTube to Facebook. Anyway, some of my other vlogs is Sunday Morning Coffee. I do Sunday morning, do a weekend news usually. 420 news, I do those once in a while. I do vlogs on 420 laws and do reviews on products and buds. And I do a book review. I preview books that I wrote, and I read a few chapters of the books. The book I have out now is on Amazon. It's Marshall of South Fork, New Mexico Territory, J. Quick Draw. It's a Western book. It's book 1 of a series. I have 3/4 of book 2 done, and I have another book coming out probably around the same time, maybe shortly after, but it has to do with law and justice. So, go to Amazon, check it out, Kindle and paperback. So until next time, just remember, we're working hard to bring you lessons on building your own house, mortgage-free. So once again, if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Big Rooster's Corner. Subscriptions are free and nothing to download. Just click the subscribe button. That will do it for today's episode. Until next time, smoke medical marijuana for your mental health. The mind you save could be your own. Stay safe and don't trust the government. I hope you learned something on this lesson, and thank you for viewing my vlog today. This is Big Rooster. I'm out.